Hi Internet, my name's Queer Kitsune and I'm gonna talk for just a little bit. Probably longer than a little bit, but you can stop watching if you want to. I love Monster High with the majority of my heart. I have to love other stuff too, but I'm obsessed with it. It's my favorite thing. And it's only been out for like 3 years or so, going on 4. And in that short amount of time, they've had so many characters. It's been like, here's a vampire, here's a werewolf, here's a zombie, here's a fish girl, here's a banshee, here's a dragon, here's a bunch of werewolves that are related to that first werewolf. Here's an invisible guy, but not really, you can't have him. I love each and every one of these characters. They're all different and complex in their own way. They've had so many characters in such a short period of time. Really soon they're going to have their Frights Camera action movie coming out, which already introduced 3 more characters. We got another werewolf who's taller than the first werewolf. We've got a swamp girl, we've got another gorgon, we've got another vampire, got the freaky fusion characters, where we've got 3 more, where we've got like a centaur, which I didn't think was going to happen because they can't wear shoes. But with all these characters, there's just one I wish that they would do. It's been on my mind for a while. I know it's been on other people's minds, so I'm just gonna come out and say this. I think that Monster High needs a gay character. And I'm gonna explain why. But first off, no children's shows have ever had a gay character. So far, the closest we've come has been Adventure Time, where if you watch any of the interaction between Princess Bubblegum and Marceline the Vampire Queen, it's pretty heavily hinted at. And from what I understand, what I've read, what I've been told, they were going to be a couple, or there was going to be something where they dated in the past but they're not anymore. But Cartoon Network told Adventure Time, if you do that, we're going to cancel the show. So they just have to heavily hint at it. So they're pretty much a lesbian couple, but we can't actually come out and say it. It's not official. So it's just close. We also came really close, or at least I thought, on the show Chowder, where there's a character introduced called Ceviche, who was the apprentice of a dancer. And there was one episode where Chowder and another character, Panini, were running for president against each other, and at one point Ceviche said to Panini, who was a girl, "I so want to kiss you right now." And I was like, finally, we have a gay character, because I thought Ceviche was a girl at the time, on a kids show. It finally happened. There's representation out there. But then a couple episodes later, Ceviche ended up just being a boy who just had long hair and was wearing pink. So that was very misleading and very disappointing. That's the closest we've ever come to a gay character in a kids series. Alright, so why do we need a gay character in a kids show? Why not? I mean, it's not really taboo anymore. I mean, DOMA's dead. I think close to 20 states have ratified same-sex marriage. It's pretty normal now, so I don't see why we wouldn't have a gay character on a kids show by now. Also, what I think the biggest reason for having a gay character on a kids show is so kids can watch this show, and if it turns out that they themselves are queer, they're gay, lesbian, bisexual, anything on the spectrum, that they can see someone and have someone to identify with. I'm gonna kind of dive into my personal life here. I identify as queer, and when I was in middle school, like I had no interaction with any gay persons in the media. I didn't have anyone to look up and say like, oh yeah, they're a gay person, but that's okay. It wasn't really okay. And as I was going through puberty, I wanted to go kiss other women. I wasn't really a woman at the time, but I wanted to kiss females. And I thought, nah, it's just a puberty thing, I'm not gay. No, there's no way in hell. No, never. And I was kind of scared. And when I did eventually realize, yeah, I'm something, because I definitely like girls. And I normally don't tell people this, but I was terrified for like that first week, because I thought it was bad. And I didn't have a character in any of the shows I watched that was like, yeah, I'm a girl who likes other girls. There's nothing wrong with that. I have friends and people that accept me. It was scary. I spent a week of my adolescent life terrified because I didn't know what else to think. Eventually, I did think of a character in entertainment media that I thought, well, they're bisexual and they're cool, so maybe I can be bisexual and cool and it won't be a big issue. But it wasn't a kids show character. It was Catherine Zeta-Jones' character from The Haunting. I don't really think any kids today are going to be watching The Haunting, but I was just laying in bed terrified and I thought, oh, that character is cool and bisexual, so I think I'm going to be okay. I'm sure there were a lot of other people like that, who as they were started to hit puberty were like, maybe I don't like girls or guys or whatever the opposite of my gender is. Maybe I like the same gender, maybe I don't like anybody, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not normal. I really feel that if there was a character in a show that kids watched, especially one aimed for tweens like Monster High is, and they saw this character who was a girl who liked girls or a guy who liked guys or someone who liked both, and they saw that, and they could say, hey, that person is like me, so I can look up to this character. I think that's something that really needs to happen with the kids series. Why Monster High? First off, the whole message is be yourself. And one of the best ways you can be yourself is just come out and say, hey, this is my sexual orientation and I'm fine with that. If any fictional school is gonna say, we accept you for that, it's gonna be Monster High, because their whole thing is we accept you for you, no matter who you are. Even when Jackson was introduced, Deuce just sat down and straight up said, like, hey, everyone here is accepted for who they are. And others have even said, this is about acceptance. My biggest reason for why it has to be Monster High. Secondly, it's the perfect age group. Monster High is marketed towards not necessarily like younger girls, but like tweens, so like middle school. The age where earlier I said I went through my whole life thinking, no, I can't like girls because that's not cool. That's not normal. That's messed up. It's wrong. If a girl that's maybe 12 was able to go on monsterhigh.com, watch a new webisode, and see a girl who liked other girls, and say, well, that girl also likes other girls, so maybe I'm not alone, maybe I'm not weird. It's targeted towards her age group, and she'd be able to go on there, see a character that's a lot like her. Just like the girls that are like French, Irish, Chinese, Mexican, all these different nationalities you brought into the show. Girls that are like that can look up at the show and say, hey, I identify with that girl because she's the same race as me. We can also have a little girl, not little, but a girl watching the show saying, that girl's into girls just like me. Also, like I said earlier about how Adventure Time, when they tried to make Marceline and Bubblegum a gay couple, and Cartoon Network was like, well, if you do that, we're gonna shut you down. I really don't think that if the Monster High team came up to Mattel and said, we're gonna make a gay character for the show, Monster High is the biggest doll line in the world right now. I don't think Mattel is gonna say, no, we're gonna stop producing your dolls if you make a gay character. I don't think Mattel is gonna shut down production of all these dolls that they have coming out. I don't think they're gonna say, we're not gonna make these dolls anymore. I don't think they're just gonna stop. So you've got that going for you, Monster High design team. I'm pretty sure that if a bunch of the people that worked on Monster High went up to Mattel and said, we're gonna have, this is our new character, they're gonna be gay, I think Mattel would just let them do it. Also, if Mattel or the Monster High team is worried that they're gonna start losing customers, I've read a lot of things by moms who don't like Monster High, a lot of people that are like, no, this isn't appropriate. Whether it's, I don't like the way they dress, or they're too scary, or they're too thin. I think the parents that would stop buying their kids' Monster High dolls because if you added a gay character are already not buying their kids' Monster High dolls. You consider how, like I said earlier, DOMA's dead, more states are legalizing gay marriage, how everything's going in the direction of gay not being a taboo anymore, someone's got to be first. And Mattel, just think how cool it would be if years from now, a picture of a doll that you made in like the margins of a history textbook with the caption, Mattel made history with this doll, insert character name here, who became the first LGBT character for a kids series. That would be the coolest thing. I bet even people that maybe haven't heard of Monster High, haven't bought their kids Monster High dolls, would probably be more interested in buying Monster High dolls if you said, hey, we have a character who's gay. When JCPenney started having Ellen DeGeneres in their commercials, there were like million moms against JCPenney, some crap like that, that had like 300 members or something, that were like, hey, we're gonna stop going to JCPenney. But then they stopped doing all of that. They shut down because there was a group against them that were like, hey, we're a group of people that are gonna shop at JCPenney more, that had like a way, way, way more members than they did. If you're worried about losing customers, you're gonna gain way more customers if you make a gay doll. And adding a gay character really isn't gonna be that hard. I mean, just make a webisode and maybe have them go up to Frankie and be like, hey, I need your help. There's a girl I like and I want to tell her. And just have Frankie be like, oh, you want to tell a girl? Okay, let's go talk to her. And just have it nonchalant. Don't make a big deal about it. Or you could make a big deal if you wanted. Maybe have a character who's getting bullied because she likes girls, or a guy who likes guys. And have them getting picked on, and then have just a bunch of the main characters stand up and say, no, you can't do that. What is wrong with this? To have the characters just straight up basically tell everyone watching, there's nothing wrong with girls who like girls, guys who like guys, any of that. It's part of who you are, and there's nothing wrong with being who you are. Maybe introduce the character, and then with her doll in her diary, maybe mention that she talked to Bloodgood and now she's gonna start up a gay-straight alliance at Monster High. Then maybe kids who are reading that will be like, gay-straight alliances, they have these, I'm gonna join that when I get into high school, I'm gonna start that when I get into high school. If they don't have one already, I'll start one in my middle school right now. Or, like I said earlier, you do have a lot of characters, there's a lot more characters coming out. If you just wanted to take an existing character and say, you know what, they've been like this all along and we just never really brought it up, you can go ahead and do that too. Have a webisode where Twyla goes up to Howleen and is like, hey Howleen, I really, really like you and I want to know if you want to go on a date with me. And maybe Howleen can say, no, but you're my friend anyway, I hope that works out, and it does, and they're friends and happy at the end. Or have Howleen say, yeah, I would really like to go on a date with you. And they become the first lesbian couple on in a kids series. I think that would be amazing. I love this series. I would love to get representation in a series. And Mattel, Monster High team, Garrett, I really think you guys are the ones to do this. Someone's gonna be first. Someone's gonna be the first person to have a gay character. There's gonna be the first LGBT toy. You guys can do this. Fans are gonna love you for this. You're gonna make people happy. You're gonna make some confused little kid extremely happy if you do this. Okay, so thank you for listening.